All right. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Welcome again to our weekly meeting, reading Risala Nur. And we're still at 20th letter, and we're going to continue, inshallah, where we left off. And this is the part that we are reading, 20th letter. بسمه سبحانه وإن من شيء لا يسبه بحمدك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير وإليه المصير. And so this is the part that we've been reading for the past weeks, and we're still at the 10th phrase, and we're almost done. Inshallah, we'll see if we can finish. And today we have our panelists joining us, Colin Rajam and Hikmat Rajam, and I think Harun Rajam, so I think he's here. And hopefully we're going to have a good conversation and good discussion. All right, let's begin from where we left off. And I think we stopped at the third part, the third point. And this was the thirdly, this is the part that we're going to read. So let me just only repeat only this part. So just the third, just to as a recap and just to remind ourselves one more time what we were reading. The third, it says the vastest whole is as easy as the smallest part in relation to the power of the all-powerful maker who rules in the universe with actions, direction, and disposal that are clearly to be seen. The creation of a universal consisting of a multiplicity of individuals is as easy as the creation of a single particular. And in an insignificant particular art of the highest worth may be displayed. This mystery and the wisdom in it arise from three sources. Firstly, from the assistance of unity, wahidiyat. Secondly, from the facility of unity, wahdat. Thirdly, from the manifestation of oneness, ahadiyat. And we finished the firstly and the secondly. And we're going to scroll down to page 9. Inshallah, we're going to continue the third one. Bismillah. Thirdly, the ahadiyat, the manifestation of oneness, which is the third source. That is, since the all-glorious maker is not physical or corporal, time and space cannot restrict him. Creation and place cannot obtrude on his presence, and witnessing means and mass cannot veil his actions. There is no fragmentation or division in his regarding and acting towards creation. One thing cannot be an obstacle to another. He performs innumerable acts as though they were a single act. For this reason, in the same way that, as far as its meaning is concerned, a huge tree can be encapsulated in a seed, a world also can be contained within a single individual, and the whole world can be encompassed by the hand of power. We have explained this mystery in others of the worlds, in others of the words like this. The sun is to an extreme unrestricted with regard to its luminosity, so its image is reflected in every burnished and shining object. If thousands and millions of mirrors are exposed to its light, the manifestation of its likeness will be found in each one of them without being divided. If the capacities of the mirrors are such, the sun will be able to demonstrate its effects in them in all their magnitude. One thing will not be an obstacle to another. Thousands of things will enter thousands of places with the ease of one thing entering one place. Each place will be displayed the sun's manifestation as much as thousands of places display it. Thus, and God's is the highest similitude, 1660, the manifestation of the universe's all-glorious maker is such, with all his attributes, which are light, and with all his names, which are luminous, that through the mystery of the regard of oneness, although he is not in any place, he is all present and all seeing in all places. There is no division in his regarding and acting towards the creation. He performs every task at the same time in all places without difficulty, without hindrance. All right, I think maybe it's a good time to take a break and let's go back to thirdly and let's go and hear something from our panelists. All right, so who would like to go first? Kolnajam or Harnajam or Hikmanajam? Maybe I can pick one. So how about Kolnajam? Would you like to go first?
I'm still sort of
Mhm.
drinking it all in. So if someone else would like to go first.
Certainly, certainly. Harnajam?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
I'm sorry,
salam.
I'm a little
Mhm.
bit late.
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I just chimed in, but looks like this is a magnificent work. I mean, if it is one of the right attributes to use, and
Mhm.
I feel like definitely, like most parts of Risale-i Nur, this part
Mhm.
also requires special attention and special studies, you know. I would love to see, you know, PhD dissertations taking on this piece, you know,
Mhm.
Kulli
Yeah.
Şeyin Kadir. Even
Mhm.
I would love to see this Kulli Şeyin Kadir inside a framework of Esmail Husna. Especially I saw the notice for this second part of this treatise, Ustad
Mhm.
Said Nursi just gives a short note. It says that this is about Tevhid, you know, from the
Mhm. Mhm.
perspective of the greatest names, Ismi Azam.
Mhm.
So obviously, you know, I mean, what I feel like in order for me to understand deep enough, I should delve into greatest names, you know, uh,
Mhm.
and also Said Nursi refers to many treatises in words, sözler, like 29th word, 10th word. These are the words where we encounter similar
Mhm.
meanings, you know, with
Mhm.
respect to greatest names. And I think without delving into these greatest names, it is quite difficult to understand the second part,
Mhm.
at least to me. Um, this is my first observation with obscurity or difficulty in understanding what he's really
Mhm.
talking about here.
Mhm.
Um, with that, also there's an easiness, like I can see again Nursi performance playing here, bringing such hard concepts close to little minds, you know, like mine. So this is also fascinating on the other side. So after this short, I see the core of this part is, um, you know, it's talking about these three things.
Mhm.
In order for us to understand maybe the name or the reflection of the name Kadir, we are saying Huwa ala kulli şeyin Kadir. In order for us to
Mhm.
understand this, he's ascribing three things. One is, you know, it says it comes from the, you know, support of unity. Of course, I think the Turkish I understand better than English. İmdad-ı vahidiyet, yusru vahdet, and tecelli ehadiyet. So, you know, support of unity, you know, easiness of unity,
Mhm.
and also manifestation of oneness.
Mhm.
So when I read from Turkish, it is more apparent to me. Like the first part is talking about actually the sovereignty, you know, sultanate,
Mhm. Mhm.
so kingdom,
Mhm.
however we translate. But I think the key is sultanate. So if there's a kingdom, this kingdom is the key here. So anybody who lives in this kingdom or any soldier who is part of this kingdom can get benefits, especially from the power perspective, which is to underline here. From the power perspective, the kingdom's power belongs to any soldier we can think of. So, obviously, if we look at the cosmos universe from this perspective, like it is definitely connating a kingdom. So this kingdom, with that perspective, all the creation, all the things being made every moment actually subject to this kingdom. That means actually every proponent of this kingdom definitely can make use of the benefits of this kingdom with this perspective. So that explains why all creation that we see through the spring, summer especially, is so easily made, so nicely made, to say. So I think the first part is understanding this kingdom or sovereignty. And the second part, I think it is kind of leveling down. If, kingdom is the highest level to understand the unity, the closer level for us to understand is the unity of the laws, unity of what's going on in the universe. And, from physics perspective, we know there is gravity, there is atomic gravity, there is friction. So there are physical laws we know. And we know that actually laws make things easier. Even man-made rules, right? Laws make things easier for us to live together. So in the universe, all the laws are established in the first place so that, everything just kind of revolving around or just changing in a very fast, unique, nice way. So that's the second part, I think. Laws just is part of the unity to understand. And I think here we are at the third part, which is more subtle. And since I talk too much, I want to just give this to Colin Hocam. Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Hocam, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I think what we have to do here is we have to understand that Tawheed is not just about saying that, Allah is one. It doesn't really mean very much. So what Ustad does, which no other scholar in the modern era has done, he has teased out the various nuances of unity, and he has focused on Ahad and Wahid. Here in the constellation of Qadir, to use Harun's notion of the greatest name, I think the name here is Qadir, that's the constellation, and in it we see Ahad and Wahid. I think what we have to understand is that Ahad and Wahid are necessary to our understanding of Tawheed, because without Ahad, we don't see things as unique and being constantly created. And without Wahid, we don't see things as all being attributable to the same source. So it's very important that we see these different perspectives. If we don't have those perspectives, it's very easy to become a deist rather than a theist. So God is the one who starts things off. He's not present with his creation. He creates, and then the creation is somehow self-replicating, self-reproducing, which is how deism works. And of course, that leads to secularism. Both secularism of the universe and also secularism on the social political level. So Ahad and Wahid are absolutely crucial to understanding Tawheed, but at the same time, they are only perspectival. And I think this is why Ustad here brings in the idea of Wahdat, which has been, as Harun said, the English is not very helpful. Wahidiyya, I would say, is inclusive unity. Ahadiyya is exclusive unity. And Wahdat is general unity. These are not perfect translations, but I think this is what he's trying to say. He's saying that Ahad and Wahid are for us. Allah actually does not have these names separately. They are all working together. And then in this piece that you've read tonight, it's as though he's explaining, well, how is that possible from the point of view of Qadir, of power? How is it that Allah is creating everything at the same time, and yet every single thing, as well as being part of a whole, is in itself also a unique whole? So then he talks about the fact that Allah is not physical or corporeal. Allah, if you can go back a little bit, sorry, there's no fragmentation or division in the way that he creates, although we see fragmentation and division, and it's necessary that we see it because we have to see diversity. Nothing can veil his actions because he's above matter, and he's completely transcendent. There are these mysteries of luminosity, mysteries of disengagedness, which we talked about before. Mysteries of unity. He performs every act, all acts as though it were a single act, and in fact it is. Kun fayakun is for Allah a single performative decree. Kun fayakun is a single act because he is above time and space, but we see it as though it's been sort of diffracted through an infinite number of prisms, which is why we see separate kun fayakuns all the time because of ahadiyya. So here I think he's bringing together Ahad and Wahid, and he's saying that Allah's wahdat allows him to create one thing and all things at exactly the same time. And this is a sign of his qudra. So Ahad and Wahid in the constellation, in the Burj of Qadir, I think is what's what I can see here. Thanks.
Yeah. Would you like to comment also on this mirror example? We just
Sorry, on the mirror example.
Yeah. Any comments on this mirror example?
Well, I mean, everything in existence is a mirror, and everything is a unique mirror. So it's all reflecting the same thing.
Yeah.
So the reflection is one, but the way that the mirrors receive the reflection and then reflect it, if that's the right terminology, then the likeness of what is being reflected will be seen in each mirror in a unique and individual way. So, I mean, every mirror has a different capacity, right?
Yeah.
As it says here, if the capacities of the mirrors are such, the sun would be able to demonstrate its effects in them in all their magnitude. Actually, the magnitudes of the mirrors are different. This is why we have diversity and difference. So the mirror of a cat, for example, is very different to the mirror of a tree, and yet it's reflecting the same thing, but in a unique way. The mirrors are different. Reflection is the reflection. The sun is the sun. But if you look at the sun in a huge globule of water, a huge drop of water, or in a shard of glass, or in a mirror, or in something else which is luminous and transparent, then you will see the sun in different sizes, at different strengths. And this is what gives us the diversity in creation. The mirrors have different capacities, but the source is one. And this is why, you know, the sun shines on everything equally. When it rains, the rain rains on everything equally, but every single creature uses that rain in a different way and also uses the sun in a different way, depending on the size of the mirror, depending on the size or the, you know, the capaciousness, the capacity of its receptivity, how receptive it is, what capacity it has, what potentiality it has. The sun is the sun. You know, Allah is doing everything at once, but the mirrors are different, and this is where we get diversity and difference.
Awesome. Yeah. Perfect. Great
Yeah,
example.
I think this is a very nice topic, actually. Maybe I can ask further questions, like, since it is relevant to our everyday lives, right? I mean, at this point, if it is the capacity of the mirror, you know, I know we discussed this several times. Maybe this is one of the timely place to discuss how we are mirrors, right? As well to this eternal, to the eternal sun. So then how can we polish our mirrors or increase our capacities, because obviously this is the topic, right? Mukabil, the word used. So if my mirror, my heart mirror is towards the eternal sun, so in this analogy representation, what are the practical things to do, so that my heart is towards the sun, and at least I make sure that my heart is towards the sun?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, maybe if Hikmet Hocam, any word on this? Maybe.
Yeah, inshallah, I'll just try to explain in a way that hopefully that it's going to be clear, inshallah.
That's a good question, yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that I just want to start with the Wahidiyat and like assistance of the unity and manifestation of oneness.
Certainly, yeah.
Last week that I was giving an example, and then I don't have the English version, but I looked at the Turkish version in Flash, page 169. Ustad says clearly, I'm just trying to translate. I don't have the English version. For instance, that is to say that how sun, it's exactly the same thing. It's just covering every single item. Okay, that is just what is called clearly telling us the existence of unity, wahidiyat. Okay, and so it's just saying that in the flashes 169. And then every single burnished and shiny object is going to just show the whole sun based on their capacity or limitation. And then also that every single light as well, and 7 lights too, and that they can show us that how that is going to be like what the sun is doing, and it is coming from one sources. And it says, it continues that every single shiny item and also droplets is showing us that the whole sun, and also that the temperature of that, whenever you look at it. And so it is every single items or droplets is showing the ahadiyat, meaning that manifestation of oneness. So this is clearly showing that the ahadiyat. And also in letters as well, that ahadiyat, it says that every single item, sun, Allah is showing the whole divine names. This is what the ahadiyat means. That's what it's saying in Mektubat, like letters 235. You can look at the English version. I don't have the English version right now, but I was reading it. Maybe that this is going to be clear that the examples that we gave, and everything is like what we were saying in Kolinabi was saying as well, the constantly created. It's not like created one time and it's just over. It's constantly created, and we are also constantly created. And then I can give you one example. Is like flashlights. It's just every time it's going back and forth. It's just exactly what we are doing or what we have. Constantly created, meaning that the whole wild world as well, constantly created. And this is just the one example that it shows as well in letters. Sun light is just showing that the whole 7 lights, and it is just every single, what is that called? What we said, burnished and shiny objects. It's just clearly telling us ahadiyat examples. That's what it says in Mektubat, and then it just goes on. And we were giving that example. And I just wanted to mention that in that what we read, one sun's light is coming to eggplant that is giving a purple color. But at the same time, there is a pepper next to eggplant, which is giving the green color. So this is clearly showing that every single item is just based on the limitation and capacity. And what Kolinabi is saying, that the perspectiveness or receivedness is just different than each other, but nothing is just obstacle to another. Nothing is prevent to another's perspective or receiving or receptiveness. That's what Kolinabi was saying. If I'm using the right word, Kolinabi, correct me if it is not right. So this is just showing that uniqueness or just a manifestation on oneness, which is ahadiyat. Each one of them is reflecting that each one of the divine names completely differently based on their capacity, limitation, and whatever we call more. So this is, I just wanted to share with you all, inshallah.
Yeah.
And in letters as well, that it says that all of these, from Adam's movement to whole wild's movement, is constantly moving on. It's just not created one time and then it's there. For instance, I was giving an example like the uniqueness of the fingerprint, for instance. This is just clearly showing that it's just differences. But that doesn't mean that it is just clearly just created one time and it's there. And we are all constantly created, even though we have all different and unique. That's why I wanted to give that example. This is in letters and shualar, meaning that the flashes as well, that it's just showing that. I wish I had the computer and then English version, but this is just a translation from me. And for Harun Abi's example is just, or questions, I didn't get it. Maybe somebody else, some other brothers can explain, and I can learn the question exactly, then I can continue.
Certainly, yeah. Maybe we can go back to Konlijam too, if he would like to address Harun's question. So how can we polish?
Inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah, yeah. Konlijam?
Harun always asks questions which can't really be answered very easily.
Oh yeah, always difficult questions. Yeah, that's why I'm just trying to like refer it to someone.
Well, if you think I can give a coherent answer, you referred it to the wrong person. All I know is we can't make tazkiyah of our nafs ourselves. Allah makes this quite clear. This is something that only He can do, and we have to ask for it. Now, I think there are certain things we have limitations, right? I cannot I cannot become pregnant because I'm a man, right?
Yeah.
So so my mirror is in that sense restricted, and it's not expected of me. I'm also as a man, I have certain traits which are different because I'm a man and not a woman. So we have to understand that we have actually lots of different mirrors. We have like the mirrors of our senses. We have the mirrors of our lata'if. Our heart is a mirror. Our ruh, of course, is a perfect mirror. The ruh is absolutely perfect. The nafs, not so much. So I think we're not just one mirror, we're many. And there are, I don't know how the mirror of my heart is. I can't tell. It's impossible because if I could say, well, now my mirror is clean. I can never ever say that. I have to hope and pray to Allah for Him to allow me not to do wrong. Because every time you do wrong, your mirror, the mirror of your heart, or mirror of your nafs at least, takes another hit, takes another blow, and becomes darkened. So those mirrors, only through dua can we ask for Allah to cleanse us. We can't do it ourselves. There are other things that we can't do. And unfortunately, today we live in this awful atmosphere of in every university, in every corporation, there is EDI, which is equality, diversity, and inclusion, which wants to bring about equality of outcome for everyone, which is a crazy idea because, for example, I sing and my dispositional voice is baritone. I can't become a tenor, right?
Yeah.
I can't sing at the level of a tenor because I would destroy my vocal cords even trying, right? So there are some things that we can't do. We can't fly. I'm not a bird. I can't fly. So these are limitations that we have to accept. So there are some things, and again, I don't know. I mean, I have inner senses because they are malakuti. I don't know how big those mirrors are. But from the point of view of the corporeal world, the bodily world, there are certain things that I can improve, but I know I will never be able to take part in the 100 meters at the Olympics and win it ever. I know that I can never do that, and I have to accept my limitation. So, you know, I can reflect certain things, but I can't reflect other things. That is part of how I'm created. I have to accept it. But there are some things that we don't know how big our mirrors are, how capacious they are, how receptive they are. And this is, we can only understand this through dua. Actually, we can't understand it through dua, but we can ask, oh Allah, please cleanse me of this. Oh Allah, allow me to, you know, to do this, to do that. Through dua, through munajat, through supplication, we can work on our lata'if, inner lata'if. We can work to a certain amount on our external senses, but those are not quite as important, I don't think, as the inner lata'if. But cleansing the nafs is only possible through dua. You know, this is why self-help books, which have been published for the last 70, 80 years, never ever work. No self-help book really has ever worked as it should. You know, how to become more happy, how to become more this, how to become more perfect, all of these things. These all start from the assumption that we have something in us that we can increase. We don't, we have nothing. We have the ability to do shar, and we have to pray to Allah to protect us against that. That's the only way we can polish our mirror, but you can never know how polished your mirror is. This is why there is imtihan, and this is why we can never say, I'm now done. My mirror is completely clean.
Awesome.
I don't know whether I've answered Harun's question. There are usually much more profound reasons why he's asking things, and I tried to do as best I could.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Hocam. Yeah. Harun'cum, any
Thank you, Hocam. I think that was great elaboration. And I'm thinking in the context of this treatise also looks like, you know, this is a zikr, right? La ilaha illallah wahdahu la
Yeah,
sharika
of
lah.
course.
So out of this zikr, Nursi is producing a profound intellectual approach to understanding Esmail Husna. So looks like, I mean, once we understand this capacity of the mirrors, looks like, you know, we are in the realm of Ahadiyya. So in the realm of Ahadiyya, looks like everything is possible. Like today, I can be hopeless about the world situation, you know. There's wars going on. You know, it's a very troublesome world.
Of course.
But with that perspective, we know that, you know, Hu ala kulli shayin qadir. So everything can just change in a moment. And maybe that change is within us with our perspective. That's not something romanticism or something like that. If we are approaching or understanding this correctly, looks like actually I can, as Colin Hocam mentioned, I cannot do much, you know, I don't have much capability. But with my inner faculties, maybe with the support of perspective that comes from, of course, the Quran in our hands, we can change maybe our readings of the universe through reading Quran, you know, maybe nicely adjusted readings of the Quran. So that maybe changes the perspective so that we read everything correctly. That might also maybe help to polish our mirrors so that we understand maybe everything kind of better in a way. I was trying to relate, you know, this Ahadiyya, the context of this treatise, which is to give us hope, right? And to just put the goal of this zikr in the first place, maybe. But of course, this internal dynamics, tazkiyatul nafs and everything, it was beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, great comments. Anyone else maybe would like to comment on this, or should we continue a little more?
I just wanted one, just
Please
one
go ahead.
or a couple of sentences. Yeah, Harun, I mean, Colin, I already said that the zikr, and I just want to add that the tefekkür as well, that they're trying to understand what's going on in the world, and that is going to give us that the wahidiyat and ahadiyat as well. That maybe that Harun Abi is, that the reason that he was asking, maybe it's going to be related to this. And we do that zikr, and then alhamdulillah, that it helps our heart. But when we add the tefekkür as well, that the thinking about the divine names and then whole kainat and cosmos and what's happening, and then that is clearly is going to help us our dimag, meaning that the whole brain as well, in addition to our heart with the zikr and dua, and everything is going to help us a lot. And I just wanted to mention that combining that, the tefekkür is going to be really, really helpful to understand the wahidiyat and ahadiyat as well. I remember one of Abi in the past was saying, when I was going to the bed, I was always thinking about the whole cosmos. Or the whole kainat is just the smallest hikmet, for instance. Or hikmet is this, bigger size of hikmet. Or when I think about the hikmet, is just whole kainat. And during my tefekkür and then thinking about our imagination, whole kainat is just going to be smaller and smaller like me, or I am going to be big, really big, like a whole kainat when I do the tefekkür. You know, I started saying it in a number of places that, we are like the smallest of whole kainat. This is clearly that telling us that zikr is going to help us, our heart and brain as well, and tefekkür is going to complete the understanding, or tazkiyah, or however you call, is going to help us understand the ma'rifatullah as well, divine names and Allah's creation as well. And the other thing is that the second thing I wanted to add as well, remember that Ustad says that I learned it 4 letters in my whole life, in 40 years of life, and then 30 years of education or training. And niyat and nazar, we talked about it. And looking at everything with the niyat, that just Allah is the one, and everything is under control of himself. So that's one of the things that we need to look at it. And whatever is happening in the wild world right now, even if it seems or appears like a bad thing or something, when you look at the change your nazar, it's going to be saying that, okay, Allah is wahid and ahad, and Allah kareem and qadir, and he knows everything, alim, alam. So that means that everything is under his control. So that this is the nazar as well. And looking at everything is with the mana ismi, mana harfi. Remember that those are the other two words or phrases that we use. That is going to be really helpful as well. That in addition to zikr, and that is clearly just telling us, we are talking about the wahidiyat and ahadiyat, but that is going to help us understand and clear our maybe that heart, brain, and soul as well. And looking at from soul and heart perspective is just something that I wanted to add as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Khadija. Yeah, appreciate it. All right.
Yes, can I share a few sentences from the
Certainly, Alisha. Yeah, please go ahead.
11th. Yes, inshallah. I hope that this is related to the matter we are discussing. I remembered from the 11th word at the end of it. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now, the true meaning of your life is this. It's acting as a mirror to the manifestation of divine oneness and the manifestation of the eternally besought one. That is to say, through a comprehensiveness as though being the point of focus for all the divine names manifested in the world. That is to say, through a comprehensiveness as though being the point of focus for all the divine names manifested in the world, it's being a mirror to the single and eternally besought one. Now, as for the perfection of your life, it is to perceive the lights of the pre-eternal sun, which are depicted in the mirror of your life, and to love them. It is to display ardor for him as a conscious being. It is to pass beyond yourself with love of him. It is to establish the reflection of his light in the center of your heart. It is due to this mystery that the Hadith Qudsi was uttered, which is expressed by the following lines, and will raise you to the highest of the high, the heavens and the earth contain me not. Yet how strange I am contained in the hearts of believers. And a fifth sentence from the Lehul Mulk in the letters, sixth section, so on, at the last sentence of this part. Thus, as divine unity is apparent in respect of glory and majesty, so bounty and munificence proclaim divine oneness in respect of beauty and mercy. This is because within this all-embracing art, animate creatures and especially man possess the faculties and abilities to understand, accept, and desire the infinite varieties of bounties and to reflect all the divine names manifested in the universe. Simply, like a point of focus, man displays all the beautiful names together by means of his mirror-like essence, and through it proclaims Allah's oneness. Yes, thank you.
Inshallah. Thank you, Alejam. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, these are great places. Yeah, great paragraphs. MashaAllah. And I think we have one listener would like to say one. Who was that? Trying to look for it. Oh, Recep Bilgin. Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead. Can you talk or just Mujam? So can we?
He cannot talk. I will invite him. I don't know that if it's possible, but
Yeah, we.
I don't.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Please go ahead.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, yes, yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
My dear friends. I cannot always join this gathering because my time is not available for this time. Anyway, now I just participated, and I think Harun Abi asked a question. I was listening to it from YouTube and then switched to Zoom. You know, I mean, this is there is something that really interests me very much about this question. When we look at the commands of Quran to Muslims, we all see some points. I mean, they are not direct imperatives for people about what they have to do or what they shouldn't do. But like this example, I mean, until you will not reach birru taqwa until you donate from the ones that you really like. I mean, I hope you remember this this ayat, this verse. Excuse me, I could not remember in Arabic form. لا تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. So when you donate from what you like, this is also important. I mean, this has really many implications in life. Like, for instance, social implications, economic implications, and whatever. Even the 20th century of the Western countries just found a good solution to hinder the revolutions from down. By creating a middle class, and this was their solution. I mean, just distributing this asset, this income to the whole society. Anyway, we can count so many benefits of doing this one. But interestingly enough, Quran always focuses on the points that will, I mean, build up our own personality in a way that will reflect God's real wishes from us, his real wishes, and maybe that will turn us to godliness. This is interesting point. I mean, if you check the commands of Quran, this is very common way to this understanding. And in this way, I mean, it will reflect, our real personality. Maybe it will make us into something that will really reflect what comes from him. Otherwise, it may not be seen very clearly by the society, even by the society. I mean, these are very deep implications. The other ones are really very deep implications that many people may not see. I mean, even Jumhur Avam, as Hazreti Ustad says, I mean, this Jumhur Avam cannot see these things. But I mean, it is very clear that anybody can see if a person in front of them is clearly reflecting these things with his personality. And Quran's commands always focus on this point, and then it tries to build up such a personality that reflects. I think, I mean, following these things, looking at these things, is another way to show us how we can make our mirrors really reflect I mean, whatever comes from him clearly. That is a good point. I think we should focus. And Quran also, I mean, other than mentioning many other implications, many other benefits of these things, it always focuses on, let's say almost always, I mean, I cannot say always, but generally I see this point in Quran. I mean, it is trying to build up the personality, I mean, of the individual. And in this way, maybe it will correct, or maybe somehow it will just correct the impairs of what is going on in society or whatever inside the human, the individual himself. But in this way, it is firstly correcting the human being, and this is a good reflection. Otherwise, in fact, I mean, there is a close relation between Quran and human being. If any human being cannot or does not reflect such things from their personality, then Quran, as Hazrat Ustad mentions, this one becomes really meaningless thing. And maybe Qiyamah will come just because of this one, because there will be, I mean, no person to reflect these things, and then this will become, I mean, this will become the end of the world, or the world we know, or maybe the whole universe, whatever. I mean, we don't know that one. So this is the point I want to focus.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jeff. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think Konlujan would like to just rebuttal. Yeah, go ahead, Konlujan.
Yeah, I think having heard Rajab, I realized that maybe I misunderstood to a certain extent Harun's question. It now strikes me from what Rajab said about giving up what you love, is that the difference between the Western, and I'm not talking about geographical here, I'm talking about conceptual. The Western mindset is that we have things that we can increase and we can perfect, and that the Quranic viewpoint is that we are ajiz and faqir, you know, as Ustad tells us, and that the way that we can ask for our mirrors to be cleansed is actually through negative ways. And when I say negative, I'm not talking about negative in a pejorative sense. I'm talking about not doing or giving up. So, for example, if you think of all of the prophets, how did they clean their mirrors? Well, first of all, for example, Yusuf alayhi salam had to give up his family. You know, Ibrahim alayhi salam had to, in a sense, slaughter his son conceptually so that he could keep him. Maryam alayhi salam had to go through the indignity of being accused of, you know, all kinds of things in order to give birth to Isa. So all of our prophets are living examples of how to cleanse the mirror. We cleanse it by not doing. So, you know, I'm not going to really help my own mirror. You know, if I go to a nightclub every night, it's not going to help me. So I have to stay away from certain things. I have to stay, and most of the commands that are given in this context are negations, you know, and the greatest negation of all is fasting, you know, where we do nothing. And yet it's all for the cleansing of the mirror. We don't do anything, you know, with the other things that we do with prayer and making shahada and giving zakat and going to Hajj. These are things which can be seen visibly, and one can be proud of them. But with fasting, you do nothing. And this is why Allah says this is just for me.
Yeah.
So we have to give something up. We have to negate ourselves. We have to accept that we are ajiz and faqir. And I think that is the way we can do things to facilitate tazkiyah nafs. We can't actually make the tazkiyah ourselves, but we can maybe set up the precedents, the things, the antecedents rather. We can set up the preliminaries in some ways by not doing things, by avoiding places, by avoiding kufr, by avoiding fasha, by avoiding this and that. We can only avoid mostly because we can't create. We have no creative power. So that is our strength, actually. Ajz and faqr are our strength. And that is how, by admitting that we are ajiz and faqir, this is how we can set the preliminaries for tazkiyah nafs, which only Allah can actually operationalize.
Perfect. Yeah. Great reply. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, just actually this conversation, I really enjoy it. And Harnajam, like, I'd like to shout out to him too. Yeah, a great question and great just yes, the starting point of like, and just now forcing ourselves like not just to think a little deeper, yeah, a little more. Yeah, thank you. Maybe any other comments that maybe I missed or someone else would like to comment on, or maybe just I can go back to Harnajam to say one last couple things about his question and all the answers that he gathered now.
Yeah, that's the beauty of different perspectives coming together here,
isn't it? Yeah.
as an attractor of Allah's mercy, hopefully. And I really loved, the approach of Recep Abi. I was looking at the source of the verse, which is Ali Imran 92nd. So yeah, that's amazing. So I think definitely that helps, and it's a nice takeaway for me from today.
Yeah, and actually, just what also kind of amazing me, like you just mentioned, just gathering all these different perspectives and everything. So, and I would like to say, there's always a great hope, and inshallah, just what Kolajam just mentioned it, and then of course, I'm Rajab Pujam, like I just now mentioned that, especially that sacrificing and giving up and everything. So just it doesn't have to be like another one single kind of form. Yes, I mean there are perfect kind of just opportunities for us, but I'd like to maybe just point out the fact that just for all of us being here and we are giving up, aren't we? So just we are giving up our time in exchange for some listening to our brothers and reading some Quran, reading Risale Nur and listen and actually just now extracting more information and just different perspectives. And this is a great way of kind of starting. This is a great way of maybe just Tawbah Istighfar, right? So like this is also kind of just some sort of kind of cleansing our hearts, our spirit and everything. So, and this is a great atmosphere, a great opportunity for all of us. And inshallah, may Allah help us to practice this and to appreciate this time and everything and learn more and more from each other and remind each other even more. And yeah, again, any last words before maybe we can go to Ali Ujam? Someone is maybe salam from
Before
Barla.
you do, can I ask Harun the Al Imran, which was the ayah?
92. I'm writing in the chat.
92. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, great. Someone says salam from Barla. Wa alaikum assalam. Yeah. And yeah, maybe we just we can go to like before we say our last words, maybe Alojam. So would you like to recite something from Quran and make dua before we give it a name? Or maybe is not available. So maybe we can go to Jismi. Jismujam, are you available for reciting Quran and read maybe making some dua to conclude our meeting?
We can have another personality.
Waiting. Okay. I think like maybe just they're not available. So, all right. So I think like this is enough for today. Maybe just for almost like our time's up, and we couldn't finish. I thought that we could finish thirdly, but yeah, inshallah, we're gonna start from at least page 11 next week. And thanks again, for all of you guys like joining us and giving up your time, precious time, and joining us and listening and reading Risale Nur. And thanks again. Before we go, maybe we can read just like I can recite. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr inna al-insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Thank you again. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم.
Thank you, Nazif Hocam.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Yeah. Thank you so much again and again, and I would like to see all of you next week. Again, just to our panelists and all the participants again, like Kun Najam, Hikmat Hocam, and Har Najam.
Thank you, Nazif. Thank you very much. Also to Hikmat and to everyone else who's contributed to Harun
Yeah.
and Rajab.
Thank you. Looking forward to see you guys all next week. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah.